today is going to be based on the National Park Service. The government has given this database to everybody, and anybody can access it. All you need to do is fill out a little bit of information, and then they will give you quite a bit of examples, and then they have quite a bit of documentation and guides. So for the most part, I've been doing this just using JavaScript and Fetch. And so that's pretty much it. They have it written out for any number of things, but within our world, obviously, we can just stick around with these endpoints that they allow us to have with the key that we created. And I'm just getting started here. There's a lot of information that I could recommend to people. As you can see here, you can start looking for any number of things. If you're into events or camping or hiking, or you're just into looking for photos, obviously these are all these endpoints and the things you could go see. Now, let's see what I built over the week. This is going to be something that goes by the state. And so I have a list of states, and then I fire off, and I ask it to go find anything national park-wise in whatever state I've chosen. And then when it returns it, it brings back not only images of each park, but all the details and all the activities. I get longitude and latitude, obviously contact, website, email, weather information, you name it. It's great for somebody who just wants to play around with an API and just kind of understand how this all works. You know, honestly, this is it's a great lesson. And not only that, if you're ever interested in traveling, who knows what you can find. I mean, I wasn't really aware of a lot of these places because obviously I haven't been everywhere in the States. There's quite a bit of places I haven't been. So this is entertaining. I mean, I've got some eye-opening spots that I'd love to see. So how'd it get done? Okay. So let's take a look first and foremost when I do this. What am I doing? So let's say, for instance, I'm going to call up and look for the Texas information. It's going to go through, go find everything based on Texas. Here's our responses. As you can see, it's kind of starts out here, and then it starts running through. I've noticed that these come in handy. These the park codes. Here's your activities, longitude, latitude, topics for discussion, contact information, email addresses. A lot of the operating hours and information. There's multiple places. They'll have multiple offices, so you want to go ahead and use the JavaScript to build an array based on that, on activities, and on images, because they have so many. So when you get to these points, you have to do another for loop. And I'll show you how that's all done. These are all the images and all the credits. And as you can see, what I've done, as you roll over these, I've given them the image title and the credit so that people get a little bit of information through the title and the alt text tags and attributes. Anyway, so these are huge, and as you can see here, it's telling you like what states we're dealing with and so on and so forth. So that's how it knows. A lot of times these are going to be trails, and they go into many states, and so you'll find that it's going to bring a whole bunch of states that you didn't ask for, and I've actually in the JavaScript specifically told it not to do that, saying I'm just looking for specific ones from this state, so please just give me those. And here's a model of what one of these objects is going to look like when they get in here. I just grabbed one. so that I could basically build. And what we're doing here is we got an async await function that does fetch. And what we do is we build the list first of based on whatever state was requested. And if we load up and there's no state requested, just for fun's sake, I just do a kind of a random, just pick one in the list of states and then go get that information. And so, let me see here. We can start right here. So, as you can see, if it's a default, then we're going to be running a few things. Well, is there something that I stored in public storage or local storage because I'm storing this stuff? And if so, just grab the last thing that I saw. And if not, then let's just move on. Here we go with our selected state, and my API key would be here. And then from there, we're going to get our response. Now, if, for instance, they don't have an API key, and they haven't, it's going to give them a 400. And so basically, I tell them you're missing your API key and you should go get one. And then it just doesn't, obviously that kind of just warns them that you're going to need to do a little bit of legwork to get this thing to run. And then other than that, you just take whatever response you got and then you store it. And then you go build the list, which is what you see on the right. And here, of course, is if you didn't find anything. So let's go to build list and find out exactly what's going on there. Build list is going to grab the data that you sent it. Now, sometimes the data is coming in from local storage. That's why I have it here. And that's why I have this here as well. So we're passing along based on who asked. And so if, in case there is some data, then we're going to be running through and we're going to be building out our list. Now, it's an action items list. If y'all are familiar with Bootstrap, this is just basically a group list. It's got some nice padding. It looks professional. And we're going to be basically going around and not only bringing in the select park function, but we're also going to be identifying which one's active by the data-id attribute. And here you can see I've also built in, these are our line items. For the most part, they're links, but they're a list group item. As you can see here, I've got the images, the title, a little bit of credit, and then we've got some information here and a teaser. So it's the description, just the first 100 characters, and then a ... So what I'm talking about, for the most part, is this on the side. It builds this first, and then I have it automatically click this first one, so it populates this stage over here on the left. So as you can see here, this gets built first, and then from there, this is the next round of what we're going to be doing. So let's go ahead and take a look again. Now that I've got this thing ran out, we've got our list. And it asks first right here, is this the first time we're ever using this? And if it is, we're going to go ahead and select the first one, and then we won't do it anymore. So it turns to false. At this point, if it turns to true, then we won't do this anymore. So we only select the first park. That's on the load. After that, it just sits there. And select park is something that we created when we built each one of these list items. So let's find out what select park does. Now keep in mind, when I asked for the state, I downloaded all that data. Like all of the states, every park in that state got downloaded right then and there. So I don't have to wait for anything anymore. So now that I have select park and we choose which park we're dealing with, now I go through and say, okay, well, give me all the images. We're going to do a for loop for that. I need to get all the addresses because there's always multiple. There's multiple offices for each park. And then I'd like to get all the activities as well. And so we have to do another for loop to get all those. Other than that, everything is ultimately, we chose the park. So it's going to just basically say, out of all the results that you downloaded, go get the park. In the results that you downloaded, go get the one that was chosen. And we're going to need, obviously, the URL. We're going to need the description. We're going to need who gave the credit for the images and all this stuff. Okay, well, we're also going to be needing to bring in the activities HTML. We're going to need to bring in the contact HTML. Basically everything, all the images. So as you can see, the images is its own row of columns in its own right. So it's significantly compressed down to just this one variable here, but it's pretty big. Anyway, when we've built all of this one string and compiled it together and concatenated everything, then we start hitting our targets. Now remember, first and foremost, we got to hit the park info target, which is the one on the left. This one. This one gets hit, and it will fill up and populate this one over here. So, once this gets done, you'll notice that all of a sudden it has filled out and it created a map target and it created a contact target, and now these latter two can be implemented. You put in your map with your API key and with the longitude and latitude that you were given, and it knows exactly where to go because you created that right here. And so it will go there. And with the contact page, all that contact information will be implemented and placed right there where you've created the spot for it. Right there. Okay. Now, we're going to go through, and since you selected one of them, we got to go through and take out the active, listen, it's the active class, and then find out whichever one was selected, we'll put that active class on there. So as you can see, we do the same thing with the images too. So it's a different color, basically. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. As far as which one's selected, and then as you can see here, I've done the same thing with the images. So when it goes through and does a for each, and it does a loop through and takes all the actives out, and then just adds the active class to the one that was selected. So not a lot of crazy going on here. This is ultimately something that's very simple. I think the Government Parks Association has put this out there to help businesses and people alike, and not only that, for developers to explore and kind of learn a little bit about how all this is all done. Now, I've also posted this on GitHub. So if in case anybody's interested in going to look at my code and see exactly how you can work this thing out, as you can see here, I've got all the code here. It's just a straight vanilla JavaScript and HTML. Now, in this config is where you would put your keys that you would have to sign up for. So like Google, you need to sign up for a map API key. It takes a few minutes. And these two items will come in when you fill out for the API key for nps.gov. And that's it. If you have any questions, you let me know. But for the most part, the functionality is here. And I've just got the states listed here so that they're prepared for our drop-down menu. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And here's the view image I was just talking about. When you select a view image, it goes through and takes the active class out of all of them and then just adds the active class to the one you selected. And then it knows exactly which one you want to show in the preview section. So as I go through here and select one, it repopulates this picture here. And all this is done without any frameworks. And that's pretty much, it's just a fun project. I also made it to where it would work in mobile. So, I hope everybody enjoys, what they had to learn here. And this is something that will teach you how to use APIs and fetch. And I really think that the async await is really one of the easiest things to do when you're using fetch. It really is helpful. So, like I said, let me know if you have any questions. Thanks a lot.